We're here with the cast of Krypton at Comic-Con. Welcome, guys.
Hey. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so first question, who gets to ride Russell Crowe's dragon?
That's that's code for something else. That's me. I am doing that.
No, but seriously, people are really excited about this show. There was a big preview on it on preview night, and a lot of fans were really excited. It's all about Superman's secret life. Well, Krypton. It's all about planet Krypton. What can you guys tell us about this magical land, which we've only viewed in little bits in movies and comics?
That it's going to be something that you haven't seen before. I think that this Krypton, 200 years before the birth of Superman, is a Krypton that is before that utopian golden age, still struggling to find, I guess, morality. It's a hard place to live, and it's the perfect birthing ground for the bloodline of the House of El and all the things that made Superman a champion of truth and justice and, the Kryptonian way. So.
What is actual life?
I didn't answer your question at all, did I? I dodged that
well deflected.
Yeah, well deflected. We'll dive in a little deeper. What's actual life on Krypton like? What's a Kryptonian home look like?
Crate and barrel.
Is it pottery barn or is it crate and barrel?
Yeah. The period of time where we pick up our story, Krypton's it's going through it's divided between two classes. There's the rankless and the gilded part of town. So it's a place that's struggling under theocracy, and it's kind of sliding into totalitarianism. So it's up to Superman's grandfather, Seg-El, to try and lead the revolution that turns Krypton around. So when you say what's life like, it depends whether you're a part of the rankless or whether you're one of the sort of upper class of Kryptonian society.
Who falls into the upper class here?
Well, Seg-El, the character I play, is a
Right.
scion of the once great House of El, which was amongst these gilded houses. And through no fault of his own, when he's very, very young, his family is stripped of their rank and thrown into the very, very bottom of Kryptonian society and is essentially left there to die. So when we meet him, there is this sense of great legacy and purpose somewhere out there, but it's really quite distant for him, and he's just trying to survive.
So what don't we know about Superman's grandfather and Superman's lineage? What are we going to find out in this series?
So much. I mean,
tell us everything.
Nice try. We're so excited. I mean, we've built this incredible society. We mentioned a little bit about the class system and this incredible seeming utopia that but it has some quite authoritarian elements as well. And this is an opportunity for us to tell a really gripping sci-fi epic.
Nice dodge. That was
another good dodge. Yeah. All right, excellent.
Well, that's what's kind of cool about the show is that because it's set 2 generations before the birth of Superman, there's not a lot out there in terms of the canon. There's not a lot of comics, or and hasn't. I think, as you said earlier, it hasn't been touched on that much in the film. So it gives us a kind of a blank slate really to work with. There are things that we tie in to existing canon, but we've kind of got our own little corner of the DC universe to play with, which is fantastic.
It's an amazing thing, and the thing here's the problem, if you will, with Krypton is like, well, everyone's like, I know the ending. Everybody dies except one dude.
You all die.
Spoilers. But the spoiler is that you don't know that. That the events in the pilot episode of Krypton really turn that on its head, and it quickly becomes a series where a couple of things become true. One, it is not a story about 200 years ago. It is actually a story about the present. Everything that's happening in our show affects now, and so there could be some time travel involved, but we can't confirm or deny. But truthfully, it becomes with the here and now, and that upends the story and changes the future to the point where we're not sure what is going to happen to Krypton. We really just wanted immediately to reset the stakes and change what people think they know about the origins of Superman, what Krypton is, and what Krypton's destiny is. So that's all thrown into question immediately when the show begins.
Well, bouncing off of that, really what most people know about Krypton is what is represented in Superman, who is a very noble, black and white, this is good, this is bad character, a bit of a Boy Scout, and he was raised only through memories, not memories, but the things that his father told him that was passed down with him when he came to Earth. Right. How true is that representation of actual Krypton? Is it totally different than what we think?
Well, the cool thing when I was building the character of Seg was looking at the differences between him and Kal-El, eventual Superman. And Kal-El has the benefit of growing up as Clark Kent on the Kent farm, surrounded by images of Americana and the American dream, and this loving family that tells him, if you have these amazing powers, you have a responsibility to share them with the world. So it's really him growing up in this beautiful environment that nurtures him to become the hero he's kind of destined to be. Now, in their nature, I think that they're quite similar. There is this incredible drive and this feeling that they are part of something that's bigger than themselves. But Seg, in terms of how they were raised, it's completely different. Seg grows up in a way more harsh environment. His family's been destroyed. Their honor's been completely ripped to shreds, and he's angrier. And he's a little bit more rash, but he also has to be a bit more intelligent. He's brilliant with all things technical. So while there are similarities, it's probably more Kansas that makes Superman the upright human that he is.
And I think that's one of the cool things about the shows, as Cam's saying. Seg's character doesn't start out as a Superman type of character. He's not the Boy Scout, if you will. He that's the journey, and that's going to be the fun of the series. I think is seeing this guy who's kind of a lot more sort of rough and tumble, who doesn't necessarily have it anymore. Doesn't see it, not to start with anyway. And the journey of the series is sort of growing into that kind of thing.
How does that symbol come to mean what it means, and how does Seg grow to fill it is a really interesting plot point for us.
Yeah, and there's a couple of things in there that are great, which is, while Seg is a much more, roguish and rough around the edges character than, the perfection of Superman, you also are going to get a sense to see that it wasn't just that, that upright morality of Ma and Pa Kent that gave Kal-El his sense of right and wrong. It was the bloodline and the struggle and the DNA of his family from Krypton, because this story tells, in a way, that greatest generation story, that here's the sacrifices and struggles that your grandparents made to give you what you are today. It in a way, there's that almost Saving Private Ryan feel of like, in order for you to have all this and be who you are, your ancestors did this incredible thing, this long struggle, brilliantly epic struggle to go from nothing to something that just gave the universe the hero it needed, and also changed the game. It's an interesting sandbox to play in, because we are kind of challenging the canon and rewriting its meaning a bit, but I think every hero needs to have, in a way, a fresh set of eyes on it, and we take that responsibility very seriously. This is the most recognizable symbol in the world, So building that backstory and imbuing it with a kind of a fresh meaning and a fresh idea behind how it came to be, you are walking that razor's edge of saying, this is cool, this is fresh, this is not, kind of predictable, but it's also incredibly respectful to the fans and to the history of that character in general.
But are there bad eggs in the House of L?
Well, there's really no eggs on Krypton.
Oh,
Absolutely.
now you want to play.
No, to that end, actually, we'll talk about this too, because yes, absolutely. This is much more of a, a less black and white world in terms of morality and good and evil, and it's not like there's just the mustache twirlers over this side, please, and the people with perfect hair over here. It's not that.
Well, he's got it. I mean,
sorry.
It's almost got the curl.
It is like that in this interview, but it's not like that in the show. But there's also some surprises coming, which I'll hang Cam out to dry by throwing the mic to him.
Well, first I'll say, like, with the journey and with Seg,
You weren't going to compliment my hair?
yes.
Well, really stunning today.
It is pretty good.
It is. One of the things we're doing with the show is, Seg will be sort of presented a number of kind of challenges along the way where, if he makes this decision, his grandson would probably grow up to be the Punisher, but if he goes this way, his grandson will grow up to be Superman. So it's a show that does play with that kind of morality a lot. It's not. There's lots of shading in all of our characters.
And totally different haircuts for the Punisher too.
And again, worth reiterating that the stakes are very real for the here and now. You
Yeah.
know, every choice is vitally
Your
important.
planet's gonna blow up. Yeah.
I mean, there's
It's more than that.
Well,
Even
Yeah.
more than that, the
Yeah.
universe could blow up. Maybe.
Well, you know, at the kind of the heart of it is this. There is a conspiracy from. And I wish I could, but I can't say who. From present day Earth, 2017, and there's traveling back in time to Krypton of 200 years ago. And the conspiracy is to prevent the birth of Superman. So that's what the stakes of the show
Right.
are really about. So it's less about a look back at this period of time that's in the past, but it's about now. The show's about the present.
There is a bit of a Terminator
fun.
kind of way we're approaching
Okay.
this, which is we immediately just want to kind of, really pull the rug out from under the mythology of Krypton, so that by the end of the pilot, you're like, oh, everything I thought I knew about where this was going to go and what's supposed to happen, that's not happening anymore. And this isn't just a look back; it's kind of the past and the present colliding, and the stakes are kind of the whole.
And hopefully a little
enchilada.
bit of have you seen this Kryptonian?
Yes. Yeah.
Final question. There's a lot. I mean, we're kind of in a superhero renaissance right now. There's
Totally.
a lot of lovely things to choose from. Light, dark, big, bombastic, and small. What do you feel Krypton's going to offer fans of this genre that hasn't been offered before?
Oh, just honestly, I think epic scale
100%.
storytelling and DC characters that you would not expect to be in that world will be in it. And I think that's the thing we just can't talk about. It's super super under wraps, but the story and that we're telling and the situation we're setting up from the get-go will create arrival. It'll create the arrival of some characters real DC fans are going to just have their minds blown, because this world's going to take some very big swings, and it's going to be telling very, very big stories each season, and it's going to take you to a world you have not seen before, and that to me is what makes it exciting as creators, to just have that world to play in.